Nice bathroom here, Andy.
Yes, sir, buddy.
All right, so what you got here?
Well, I'm going to explain how a space heater can be used to help save money, but how it's not, again, a good choice to heat your home with.
Okay, so again, small room, short term versus whole house, long term.
There you go.
Okay.
Now, what we have here is a typical 1500 watt space heater. Okay, now keep in mind that all electric space heaters are in essence the same. Doesn't matter if they're the large oil-filled type, or doesn't matter if they have wooden cabinets around them. It doesn't matter if you pay $10 for it or you can pay $400 and $500 for it. When we try to explain it, they're all exactly the same as it comes to how much heat it gives you and how much it costs to operate it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can buy any price range you want to. Just keep in mind this $19.95 one do the same job as a $50, $60, $100, $400 one.
Okay. And you said you can look at this just like you did the gas logs and figure this out?
Yeah, we'll show a data plate on this one. Okay. On this one right here, keep in mind everything that plugs in, everything you own that plugs in will have to have this data plate on. It's required by law.
Okay.
And again, it's how we calculate how much it costs to operate. So, but the data plates there also to know how not to overload a certain circuit for you know what it's drawing. Okay. Now on this unit right here, here's the data plate right here. First of all, a lot of times it will not have amps and watts, okay? Sometimes it just has amps, volts, and often there's a hertz. Now, well, there's hertz right here, 60 hertz, okay? Now, that's the alternating current. Every second, it alternates 60 times a second. Okay. In Europe, it's 50 hertz, for example. But here, what we need to know is watts. And the reason we always have to get to watts is because that's what you're billed for by every utility company. Electric billing is universal and countrywide. You're billed for kilowatt hours, kilo meaning 1,000, watts used for an hour. Okay, so for example, here we see this unit is 1,500 watts. And by the way, all electric space heaters on their highest setting are 1,500 watts because that's the largest you can manufacture by law.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so that tells us two things. First, it tells us how much heat it gives, and it tells us how much it costs to operate it. So with all electric resistance items, whether it be this electric space heater, if you had electric hair dryer, electric stove and oven, electric water heater, toaster oven, your electric toaster, they're all exactly the same for how many watts and how much heat it gives you. You get 3.413 BTUs of heat. There's that BTU again, that wooden kitchen match, 3.4 per watt. So a 1,500 watt space heater like this gives you exactly 5,120 BTUs of heat every hour. So the heat, if you ran this for an hour, it's the same amount of heat if you stood here and just burned away 5,120 wooden kitchen matches.
And it's so much easier to do this then, too, isn't it?
Less smoke, okay?
Exactly.
So it's very convenient, okay? But it all goes back to exact science again. So again, it doesn't matter the type or how much you spend for the unit, it's going to give you the same amount of heat.
Okay.
Now, the formula that we're going to show is how to calculate not just this item with the data plate, but everything you own, whether it be your computer, your TV set, your VCR. You want to know what it costs to run it? This formula stays the same.
Okay, so shoot us the formula.
The formula is going to be, you always got to find the number of watts, because that's what you're being billed for.
Okay.
Usually, again, always on the data plate. Let's say the data plate just had amps by chance. If it had just amps, you multiply amps times your volts, that gives you watts.
Ah,
okay. So your power saw might have amps instead of watts. So no problem, we got to get to watts. So if you have amps, just multiply amps times the volts. Gives you your watts.
Okay, so we've got the watts then.
Okay, so on this, okay, again, they're all, 5,120. So the formula is we take the number of watts, okay, you multiply it by the number of hours you want to calculate it for.
Okay.
Let's use an example here of, we'll use two examples. We'll use one, then we use 1 hour, then we'll use a whole month. So 1 hour, multiplied by the number of hours, which is 1, multiplied by the cost per kilowatt hour. So right now, I use 0.12, 12 cents. Then we divide by 1,000. We're getting rid of the kilo part here as part of the formula. Okay. And there's your answer. Okay. So that tells you what it costs. So this would cost at 12 cents, right at 18 cents an hour to run that. So if you ran this in your bathroom, in this bathroom right here, it's a nice sized bathroom. If you ran it for 15 minutes, it would burn you out of here.
Right.
Okay. So in a sense, you can run this for 4.5 cents in the morning, economically as it could be. The goal is heat your bathroom up. Don't run down the hall and bang the thermostat and heat the whole house up.
Small space as opposed to doing the whole house.
Like
Okay, we're going to save some money that way.
Save a lot of money that way.
Okay.
So that's where they shine is small space, a small period of time. And so this now let's take it, multiply it, let's say by 720. There's 720 hours in a month.
Okay.
So let's plug this in one time and run.
You're making my brain hurt, Andy. Math.
Make your bill hurt too. Okay. So for 720 hours, you take that same formula okay, 1,500 watts, multiplied by 720 hours, multiplied by 0.12, divide by 1,000, that'll give you right at $130. Actually $129.62. Okay, right in that number. Right? So let's call it $130.
Wow.
It's not inexpensive heat, right? Comparing that, let's say, to a heat pump, for example, in comparison. Here we're getting 3.4 BTUs per watt.
Mm-hmm.
Heat pump's going to give you 10 or 12 BTUs for that same watt.
Okay.
When you heat your home, so it's cheaper to heat our whole home with the heat pump, maybe, for example, or even gas. Or
gas. I was going to say
okay.
gas, heat pump. That's all good, but this is good. Again, small room, short term.
Absolutely.
Save some money.
Right.
All right. Well, since you mentioned the heat pump and stuff, can we go take a look at the thermostat and we'll talk about that?
Great.
All right.
Okay.